The big question is, should you buy that fixer-upper? Is a fixer-upper your ticket to affordable home ownership and a little bit of sweat equity? Or is it a fast track to stress, to never-ending costs and regrets? Let's check it out. Here's the scenario. You're scrolling through listings on the MLS system and you spot a house that's way under budget. This one has, how do you say it, potential. But also it looks like it hasn't been touched or moved since the 1970s. You know it, you've seen it, the green appliances, the red shag carpet, the blue tub, and everything else that goes with it. We've all seen them. They all look like they could be a great possible deal. So let's break down the real pros and cons of buying a fixer-upper so you can decide if it's the right move for you. Don't forget to hit that like button and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. So let's get right into this video and talk about the main reasons you should or shouldn't buy a fixer-upper. First, let's talk about the pros of buying that fixer-upper. Number one is a lower purchase price. Fixer-uppers are typically priced below market value and sometimes by quite a bit. Why? Because they need work. But that work can translate into major saving, especially if you've been priced out of your dream neighborhood. A fixer-upper might be the way in. You'll be able to get into that neighborhood that you've been looking for if the price is right. Number two is customization. One of the best parts of buying a fixer-upper is that you can almost customize everything in that property. If you don't like that closed-up kitchen, you open it up. If you want to finally get that magazine-covered bathroom ensuite, go for it. How about that man cave you've been dreaming of? Just do it. So what's happening is that you're not settling for someone else's taste. You're basically creating your own to be able to enjoy this beautiful new home that you're going to be upgrading. And make sure you stick around for my bonus tip at the end of this video. Number three is the potential for equity growth. So what this means is that a well-planned renovation can add serious value to your home if it's done right. This is what we call forced appreciation. You're not just riding the market, you're driving the value up, and that extra equity can help you if you're planning to refinancing, to rent it out, and maybe sell later. Definitely one of the things to look out for when you're buying that fixer-upper. Number four is there's less competition. Let's be real. Many buyers out there are either scared of renos if they can't do it themselves, because then if they have to hire out, it will cost them a lot more money to be able to fix it up and bring it back to today's standards. That is your opportunity. In hot markets, less competition means a better shot at landing a great deal. Now let's talk about the cons of buying that fixer-upper. Are you ready? Con number one is renovation costs can add up pretty quickly. It's easy to underestimate how much renos will cost. That $20,000 project can easily become $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 really fast. So make sure that you always build a buffer, at least 20%, maybe more than your initial budget. This is seriously something you cannot skip because the hidden surprises will pop up, will show up. It will happen. No matter how carefully you plan it, something's going to happen. Con number two are hidden problems. Older homes often hide unpleasant and expensive surprises. We're talking about outdated electrical, knob and tube wiring, possibly aluminum wiring, hidden leaks, potentially asbestos, mold, cracked foundation, water infiltration, and the list goes on. So make sure you are aware of these things that potentially could happen, because this is something that can add cost, frustration, anger when you're doing that reno to the fixer-upper. Every great home inspection isn't a crystal ball. They cannot open walls. They cannot see through walls. So the things that are hidden behind the walls before you start renovating can come up to bigger problems than we anticipated. So be ready mentally and financially for the unexpected to happen. We're always going to find some surprises when you start opening up walls. Con number 3 is time and stress. Renovations take time, they take energy, and you need a lot of patience for it. If you are living through this renovation, you're going to be dealing with a lot of noise, a lot of dust, and potentially a lot of takeout dinners, or even worse, microwave dinners. So make sure you're prepared for all these things. If you're not living through this reno, you're renting a place or you've moved out for a little bit, or those are all things that can happen. You might be juggling extra rent, Airbnb, mortgage payments, taxes. All these things will potentially happen if you're not living at the property, which could potentially make it even more stressful for you. Con number 4 is financing a fixer-upper. A big renovation like this can be tricky. So if the home isn't livable, you might not qualify for a traditional mortgage, which means that you'll need something potentially like purchase plus improvements. So make sure that you look into this in great details, because there can be some little things that you might not be aware of. Purchase plus improvement mortgage will have some restrictions. Also, construction loan. These are all things that you really need to know the answers before you get into that renovation, because if you know what's happening, then you can react properly. These things can work, but they do come with more hoops, paperwork, and lender conditions. Make sure you do your homework before you start this renovation, because you want to know what's going to happen, where the money's coming from, when you're going to get that money. So make sure, do your homework. It'll save you a lot of headaches. So how do you decide if a fixer-upper is right for you? There's a few questions you need to ask yourself. Number 1, do you have a realistic budget with a buffer? Number 2 is, do you have the time to do it yourself, or do you have a reliable contractor to manage all of this work that needs to be done? The other thing is, are you handy? Will you be able to do some of the work, or do you have to hire out everybody to do this renovation? The other big question is, can you live through a construction zone? It's not easy. Trust me, I've gone through it before. It's not always as simple as it looks. Or if you can't live through the renovations, can you afford to live somewhere else? The last and maybe the most important question is, are you emotionally ready for the ups and downs of that renovation? You're talking ups and downs of financial, ups and downs of the emotion of living through it, and the ups and downs of running into a problem and how do you fix it. So if you're nodding along to most of these and, I can handle these, I can take care of these, it could be a smart move. If you're shaking your head going, I can't handle this, maybe it might be better if you look for something not as extensive. Like start maybe with a small renovation, something that just needs cosmetic. It'll make your life a lot easier. And then later on, you can get into it and see if you're built for this, if you want to do this, and before really getting into it, because the minute you get into it, it's too late already. And here are the bonus tips if you really want to get into this fixer-upper. Number 1 is to get a detailed home inspection. Make sure that inspector inspects the house from top to bottom, including the sewer, if you're on septic. Electrical is also another big one, possibly a plumber, and also the foundation. Those are the major components of a house that you want to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. The other thing is that you want to prioritize major systems, the roof, the HVAC, the plumbing. These are all things that will cost a lot of money if you run into major problems. The other thing you want to focus on is also the high return on investment upgrades. You want to make sure if you're spending a lot of money, you're spending the money in the right places. We're talking kitchens, we're talking bathrooms, we're talking curb appeal. The other thing you also want to know is know your limits. Leave the electrical, structural work. You might need to hire a structural engineer, plumbers. These are all things that, require a lot of experience and knowledge to do these things properly, because you don't want to be running into issues later on once your renovation is almost done or completely done. The other thing you want to make sure is you don't want to over improve the property. If you are going to be living in there and enjoying all these renovations, that might be a little bit different, but make sure you don't over improve, because you want to make sure you also match the neighborhood. Because if you are spending way too much money on your renovations, the market value might not be there once you decide to sell or refinance or rent and things like that. You want to make sure that the property is matching the neighborhood that you are in. All right, so that wraps it up for the pros and cons of buying a fixer-upper. So have you ever taken on a big renovation project? Are you thinking about it? Drop comments below and let me know. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you're in the Ottawa area and need help figuring out what your next move is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Make sure to reach out to me. I would be happy to help you make that smart decision. So make sure you hit that like button. Feel free to share this video if you want to, and also subscribe to my channel, because we always pull out great videos on great tips for buying, selling, and investing. But in the meantime, if you have any questions about real estate, buying, investing, selling, make sure to give me a quick call, or you can always email me at jeanricher@jeanricher.com. Merci beaucoup et bonne journée.